Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is, it's a good time for math, and I'm glad you decided to join us today on this great Thursday here. It's actually just after 12:36 a.m. when I'm recording this for you, so hopefully I don't sound too delusional here. Your last test grid should be up on RenWeb probably soon, if not right now. So you might want to go check it out and see if it's there yet. Um, there is a little bit of an issue with YouTube that it was blocked, but I think I've resolved that after talking with Bryce, the tech guy, for a while. So now you should be able to access all YouTube videos at least for the next couple of days here. Um, but I'm sorry about that. Regardless, there was too many of you guys that didn't have your homework in, so right now it's due and it's late by the time class starts. So if you haven't turned it in, sorry, you're losing 3 homework points off your grade there. So let me go over the homework here because I saw a lot of people didn't had some issues with it here, didn't do it quite right. That's all right. So the homework was page 93, 17 to 22, and you had to factor just 6 quadratic expressions here. So one of the main things that I was seeing that a lot of you were not doing well is identifying the signs, okay? Now, of course, you want to go back and think about this in your notes here. When you're factoring, you always want to take out a GCF first. And we didn't practice many that were difference of 2 squares, but I'll do that a little bit more today. And if it's 3 terms, you don't really have to worry about perfect square trinomials. I mean, most times they won't be. Most of the time you're factoring by trial and error, okay? And all right, now this slide here is really, really important that you guys, I don't know, didn't read or whatever. Now, some of you probably did it well, some of you didn't, but anyhow, when you're looking at this, you want to read the second sign first, okay? And if you see the second sign has a plus on it, it means both the signs in your sets of parentheses are going to be the same, all right? However, if the second sign is a minus, you're going to have one positive and one negative. Okay, so you just think about foiling, for instance. How do I get a positive? Well, I could either do a negative times a negative or a positive times a positive. But if this sign here was a minus, how could I get it? It would have to be a positive times a negative or a negative times a positive. All right? So this is really, really important, okay? And if the signs happen to be the same, then the first sign matters. If they're not the same, then one's plus, one's minus. Okay, so let's look at these problems here and discuss the signs. All right, so I already have the arrow pointing at the sign you want to look at first. All right, so it's a minus sign. That means the signs in your binomials are going to be different signs, okay? Because in order to get a negative 10, you have to have a positive times a negative. All right, now if they're different signs, then you don't even have to bother looking at this one here until you're checking and trying to get a negative later on. Okay, so you want to get a negative 3. All right, and in order to get negative 3, you have to pick the right factors of 10 to go in these binomials here. Okay, so we have different signs, all right, and the right factors of 10 to go into these binomials. And the first term, to get x squared, you're going to have to do x times x, okay? There is no other way around that. X and x. All right. Now, when you have different signs, you want to think subtract to get the middle. Okay, so think subtraction with the factors of 10. All right, so it could be 1 and 10, or it can be 2 and 5. Okay, and then you could also have the reverse order there. But well, it's not going to be 1 and 10 because 10 minus 1 is 9. Okay, it's going to be 5 and 2. Now, when it's x and x, you don't have to worry about doing any multiplying because you're essentially multiplying by 1x, okay? But if there was a different number here, then you have to think about multiplying first and then subtracting, all right? So we know this one's got to be 5 and 2 or 2 and 5. Now, if I want to get a negative here, I want to put the bigger number with the minus sign So minus 5 there, and a smaller number there. And then you can do the good old rainbow check. All right, or the smiley face check, or whatever you want to call it there. And just make sure you get the middle. Okay, so here outside you have negative 5x. Inside you have 2x. Combine them, it is negative 3x. Okay, so if you FOIL everything else, you'll get the rest of it. All right, so let's go through 18 here. So on 18, I took the liberties of listing out all the factors. It's different signs again here. It's good to list both one way and the other way when you're listing factors, especially if you notice 3x squared, the factors are x and 3x. Okay, which means you cannot just subtract these ones to get the middle. All right, because if you were FOILing, you would be multiplying one of them by 3x and the other one by x. All right, and so you have to think how FOILing works. All right, so before we subtract, you have to multiply the factor here by the factor here, okay? And then multiply x by the other factor here. So like for instance, I would do 3x times 12 is 36x, and x times 1 is 1x. So remember, that's 36x and 1x. If I subtract them, there's no way I'm getting negative 5x. All right, so then I would do 3x times 6, so that's 18x. X times 2 is 2x. 18 minus 2 is 16. That one doesn't work either. And I work my way down through the factors until I figure out it is this one, the very last one actually. 3x times 3 is 9x. X times 4 is 4x. 9x minus 4x is 5x. All right, now the signs are different again. Okay, so if you put a plus and minus here, you'll get the right sign in the middle. Now I don't know if it's x then 3x or 3x then x. I'm kind of just guessing at this point. So I might need to switch this later on when I check it. All right, so now let's make sure we get negative 5x. So in order to do that, I'm going to put a 3 here and a 4 here. Okay, now it could be 4 then 3. Okay, now it says 4, 3 here, so you think 4, 3. But remember, I'm multiplying 3x times 3. In order to do 3x times 3, I need to make sure those are either on the inside or on the outside. Okay, so let's do the rainbow check and see if we got it right. All right, so we got negative 4x on the outside, positive 9x on the inside. All right, so that adds up to be 5x. Looks right, but the sign's wrong. All right, now if the sign's wrong, all you got to do then is just switch the signs here. Okay, so if we switch that to a minus and this one to a plus, that will change the signs on this from a plus on the outside, or minus to a plus, and then on the inside it becomes a minus, so that means our answer is a negative. All right, so it's very critical that you get the same thing as the middle, otherwise you didn't factor it right. All right. Number 19, this one here, okay, actually has same signs if you look at the plus sign here. And if they're the same signs, then you look back here and it tells you they're both plus signs, okay? Because how else am I going to get positives? Okay, I could have a negative and a negative to give you a positive, but here it has to be positive too. All right, so once again, this is x and x, all right, because it's x squared. It's kind of like the first one. And the factors of 56, I just listed them the one way. You can tell 7 and 8 will work. When they're the same signs, you want to add, not subtract, to give you the middle. 7 plus 8 gives you 15. So if you FOIL it out, you'll get the middle. All right, number 20. Oh yeah, I forgot to remind you guys, we should always be looking for the GCF first on these, all right? And there's no GCF in this one or any of the ones we've done so far, but don't forget about the GCF first. All right, so here we got different signs. We're thinking subtraction again. All right, so this time it's 2x squared, so it would be x and 2x. So it's important to think of the factors both ways, not just one way. So we got 1 and 15, 3 and 5, 15 and 1, 5 and 3. Like I said, it's optional if you list them twice, but you just have to remember you could be multiplying the other way. Okay, so you think subtraction after you multiply. So you do 2x times 15, that's 30. If If I subtract 1, that's not going to be it. 2 times 5 is 10. If I subtract x times 3 is 3x. 10x minus 3x is 7x. Yeah, that's the one that's going to work. Okay. So we got different signs again. We know it's going to be x and 2x. All right, so I'm just going to guess that that's going to be the right combination here. All right, and 3 and 5, or it could also be 5 and 3. Remember, we want to multiply the 2 with the 5, so we're going to put those two here. So we do the inside, and then we're going to put the 3 here. All right, now let's double check it. Okay, make sure we got the right sign in the middle. Outside's negative 3, inside's positive 10. Negative 3x, 10x equals 7x. There you go. So that's the factored form of it. All right. This one here, I took out the GCF of 3 first. Okay, there was actually a GCF in this one. Here the signs are different again. Oops, I thought I could paste it, but I guess not. All right, so if the signs are different again, we'll have a plus, we'll have a minus, x squared this time, so we know it's x and x. Factors of 16, 1 16, 2 and 8, and 4 and 4. Okay, did you figure out which one works? Remember, you're thinking subtraction, so if you subtract, now you're just multiplying by 1, so it's 8 and 2. All right, now, is it 2 than 8 or 8 than 2? You want to have more negatives, so you put the bigger one with the minus sign here, and so this should work if we check it, do the rainbow check. This one does work. Okay, this one, any GCF? Nope. Once again, different signs. There's lots of ones with different signs here. It's kind of annoying. All right, this is the first one where it's a little bit trickier because 4x squared could be listed out as x and 4x or 2x and 2x. So that's a possibility, all right, because that would also give you 4x squared. Here you have 1 and 3, or 3 then 1. Okay, so let's see which one it is. Okay, 4 times 3 is 12. X times 1 is 1. 12x minus 1x is 11x. Okay, I figured it out already. All right, it's like a walk in a park once you get good at it. All right, so now if we put the 3 here, I know this isn't going to work because of the signs being wrong. So I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to put 4x here and x there. That will give me my 4x squared. And then I want to put the 3 there and the 1 there. Okay? And let's check it. Negative 12x. Inside's 1x. So it ends up being negative 11x. And the road rejoices. Okay? So let me do one more with you guys here since we got another minute. Okay, so you're looking, these numbers are pretty big, which that might mean you got a GCF here. Okay, so let's take out the GCF. It's actually 6 for the GCF. So we have 6 times the quantity n squared. That would be 12n plus 192 divided by 6 is 32. Okay, so that's 32. All right, now tell me what the signs are. What do you think? Oh, look, it's a plus sign. So that means the signs are actually going to be the same this time. All right, and now if they're the same, this sign matters. They're going to be both minus in this case. All right, so here we got one case where we have 2 minuses. Now factors of n squared are n and n, so that's the only option there. Factors of 32, that will work. Let's see, 1 and 32. Just keep going in order. 2 and 16, 4 and 8. Okay, anything else? That's it. Okay, you got the opposites here too. All right, so the one that gives you negative 12. Now, if they're the same signs, you want to think you add to get the middle. You are just multiplying by 1, so you can just add 4 and 8. That gives you 12. So if we have a 4 here and an 8 here, we're good. And you can check it by foiling. You have negative, do the rainbow check, smiley check, negative 8n, negative 4n. That gives you negative 12n, and yay. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. Guess we don't have time for this one today, but that's okay. I'll give you some more practice problems and do your best on them. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.